Did you know that every thought that you have creates its own unique emotional signature? It's like a vibrational fingerprint. But here's the real question. Have you paid attention to which emotional signatures happen the most in your life? Most people don't. They only think of emotions when they're painful and when they hurt. But if you pay attention, you'll notice that you can feel emotions all the time, not just when they're intense. I'm going to show you a different way to look at your emotions. And when you know what to look for, your emotions will lead you right to your subconscious programming. Most of your emotional signatures aren't that strong. You're not going to notice them unless you're actually tuned in. But if you do tune in, if you pay attention, you can notice that with each changing thought, the emotional response that you create inside it changes as well. And the interesting thing is nobody else can feel your emotions like you can. They're deeply personal vibrational patterns that only you can create. If you were to measure emotional responses on 100 different people and you ask them to just think about the beach, each and every person's emotional response would be slightly different based on their belief system. And your personal emotional responses are always based on your personal belief system. So they're never going to be exactly aligned with somebody else's emotional response, no matter what the topic is. Your emotional signatures can swing wildly and you not even be aware of it. For example, you could be sitting in a room listening to a lecture, and you could be creating the emotional response or the emotional signature of curiosity, and then your mind suddenly jumps to an argument that you had earlier in the day, and now you're creating a completely different emotional response, and yet you may not even be aware of it. That's how subtle the different emotional responses can be, and that's a pretty wild swing from curiosity to putting your mind on an argument that happened. These shifts, these emotional swings, these emotional signatures, they show up with every single changing thought, and we glance through like 70,000 thoughts a day. So we're creating all kinds of emotional signatures throughout each and every day that most of us are totally oblivious to. When I started paying attention to my emotional responses, I was pretty surprised to see how many times a similar emotional signature was showing up, not like on a weekly basis, but on a daily basis. Here's a couple of examples of the same emotional signature showing up for me in a few different places. You know, it's not the same thing creating the emotional response, the irritation response. It's not the same person doing it. It's different places and different situations that happen, but they're creating a very similar emotional response. For me, it's the response of irritated. So when I was building websites, when I was looking for information, I would go through videos and I would get irritated when I couldn't find the answer that I was looking for in the videos. And then it could even be in the same day. I could just stop on the website stuff and go work on a video. And then I'd go over to the park to make a video and there'd be people playing in the background or they'd be making noise that would show up on the videos. Again, the same emotional signature of irritation, like, oh, man, I can't get my thing done. Then I would notice that the same exact emotional signature of irritation showed up in traffic. It was like, man, this irritation, this emotional signature is showing up all the time in my life. And I was pretty surprised by that. After you watch this video, if you start paying attention to your personal emotional responses, I bet that you'll start seeing some very similar ones that string together many times throughout your day that you're totally oblivious to or hadn't thought about. If you do notice that you're seeing the same emotional signatures over and over throughout your day, then your subconscious is running a program. And if you don't understand subconscious programming, you want to go check out this video. Here's why it's important. Your emotional responses, those are your breadcrumb trail back to your programs that your subconscious is running. You see, your subconscious is not analyzing your thoughts. It uses your subconscious responses to decide what's important. The emotional signatures that show up the most are the ones that are being used to create and reinforce the programs that your subconscious is running on autopilot. If you don't already know what your subconscious programming is, you can use your emotions to help you break down and understand exactly what's going on. But most people don't understand emotions in the same way, so they don't use them in this way. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, spend as much time as you can tuning into your emotional signatures and see how often you notice the same ones showing up. If you want to learn more about using your emotions to track down your subconscious programming, head over to lifeequalslove.com and sign up for my course called The Reflection Method. The first module, the first 5 lessons of it are absolutely free, no obligation to you, just more solid information that you can use to start navigating your journey in a slightly different way. If you want to learn more about deconstructing your programs and creating new programs, I cover that in Module 2 of The Reflection Method. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.